Electra Elf and Fluffer have come to save the day.
Blazing the frontiers of political speech, live from New York City, it's the Vox Internet Radio Transmission. And now your host,
Transmitting live from Police State America in New York City. The following is a dispatch from the Orwellian morpho-linguistic land of double speak and double think and human acclamation. We're being conditioned, acclimatized, into becoming slaves to this plan called the New World Order. And the main and most immediate threat, and this used to be a threat that was many years off, but now it's happening very fast, is this move by the industrialists to have humans, especially children, microchipped.
Emergency! Booby!
They want to get them microchipped for your protection, of course. And thank you for always being so concerned with my protection, you fucking bureaucratic scumbags! Human implantable, trackable, traceable microchips. They have profound implications for human behavior. All of the deepest aspects of our existence are profoundly affected by the implantation in a subject of a traceable, trackable, subdermal, under-the-skin chip. And soon they're going to make these systems so prevalent, so everywhere, that they will be required in order for simple things like employment or shopping at the supermarket. And every purchase you make will be tracked, recorded. Everything you buy, every square foot you walk, every soda machine you walk by, every subway stop you get off at, every doorway you walk through, all recorded, all monitored, all watched, all able to be audited and examined under a microscope for years to come, all your private medical records available to any police officer or government employee or anyone at all who has access to their systems, anybody who works on their computers. There'll be a huge black market, run mostly by government employees of your private records. Government employees who have access to your record will steal them. That's what they do. Not all of them, many of them. Doesn't matter, one of them. That's too many, Oh no, government would never do anything wrong. No way. The people that work for government, they would never, like say, if they had access to all these personal databases, they would never be tempted to, make a copy of it on a disk and take it home and see if you could sell it or something. No one would ever do that. You're a paranoid conspiracy nut if you think that could happen. People, they're talking about cameras on every street corner. This is all for your safety, Cameras in school, locker rooms, in the girls' showers, all for their safety, Steam-resistant lenses. I kid you not. They're trying to install cameras in the girls' showers throughout this country.
McNerds, we've got a problem!
For their own safety, make sure there's no terrorists in the shower, right? Principal Chester, And the most scary thing that you can imagine is to have a population who is under total mind control. And if it was automated, if the process of mind control became automated through implantable microchips, it makes that job all that easier. Take away your rights, turn you into sheep. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a sheep. And actually, sheep make me sick. Sheep are cool if they're sheep. But if they're humans and they're sheep, they make me puke. I can't stand people who live by every little rule, When they see that those rules are fraud, they're fraudulent. But yet they still live by them, they still believe in them, People have to get off their knees and stand up and take their fucking world back. And don't listen to the rules or the cults with their demagoguery and their, just platitudes, and they're just weak. It's like religions, organizations, they all suck. You gotta be an individual. You gotta follow your own heart.
Hello?
Electra Elf,
Yes.
check out what Hellscope has to say.
there's a war on truth. Listen to and get the facts.
In 1969, General Electric did a study. They hooked up electroencephalographs to people's skulls, and they monitored their brain activity while they were watching television. And they discovered a shocking reality, that within 30 seconds of television viewing, the mind goes into what's called an alpha state. There are several reasons for this. One is the 60-cycle scan rate of the cathode ray, but moreover, it was the way the content was delivered, which caused the viewer to go into what scientists called the alpha state. There's the beta state and theta state, all of which relate to various states of consciousness, such as an aroused state, or an alert state, or a drowsy, or an REM state. The alpha state is similar to what you go into when you do opiates. That's right, when you do heroin. When your mind is in the alpha state, you are very open to suggestion. You're in a kind of hypnotized, mesmerized state. The left hemispheric functions of the brain are suppressed and exhibit abnormally low activity on the electroencephalograph machine, the brain monitor. The left half, which is suppressed during television watching, is the seat of our critical capability, meaning that during the time we are watching TV, our ability to judge whether what we are seeing is real or not is completely blurred. It all seems real, even though it's not. Now, over on the right half of the brain, the activity is quite enhanced. The right half is the trusting and emotional half, and that half is overexcited. And so we trust what we see and become emotionally involved with it, yet we have very little abilities to discern whether what we are seeing is trustworthy or not. It's the perfect brainwashing machine. Now that was in 1969. They did the study again, and guess what happened? They discovered that instead of going into the alpha state within 30 seconds, which was how long it took in 1969, that now you go into the alpha state within a fraction of a second. Think about that. Within a fraction of a second of you turning on the television, your brain turns off. It's called brainwashing.
This program is dedicated to exposing the workings and players of the New World Order.
We are in a state of emergency. The patient is in a state of comatose. And we're going to be shocking the patient. We're going to be getting out the electrodes and giving the patient convulsing jolts of electricity, of information, to try to wake them up as fast as possible. So sometimes it may seem that our delivery is a little bit nonlinear or a little bit jumpy, but it's because we're throwing ice on the patient. We've just squeezed a popper and we're sticking it up its nose in order to jolt the patient awake. Because the patient is dying. And we are running out of time. What we're involved in today is what's called a crusade. We all learned about the crusades in high school, and it's no different. The people in the 13th century looked back at the people in the 11th century and they said, oh, the crusades were only existing back then. But we live in modern times here in the 13th century. We don't do things like have crusades. That was just for the olden days. And then in the 15th century, they looked back at the 11th and the 13th century and they said, well, they were crusading back then, but here we are in the 15th century, times are, we're modern people, And now here we are in the 21st century, and we're looking back and saying, oh, the crusades only happened in the 15th century, and they only happened in the 13th century, and oh, they only happened in the 11th century, but it's such a modern world now that we wouldn't have crusades. It's the same thing. It never changes. The crusade never changes. The names of the players change, but the strategy and the tools and the methodologies is all the same. Murder, assassination, greed, fear. These are all the tools of the Illuminati. Yes, the Illuminati exists. And there's going to be a few words we use. And the word Illuminati, I need people to become more familiar with, because this is the best name to give to these controllers, these puppet masters who are controlling the events, who are steering the events of the day. These events are not random acts of terrorism. They're carefully planned by the elite. All terrorism is an inside job. All terrorism is of people terrorizing themselves. And that's what's happening in America today. We're looking for a boogeyman that doesn't exist. The terrorists are on the inside. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was likely perpetrated by the CIA and the oil and arms merchants. The oil and arms industrialists are likely the ones who pulled off the 9/11 attacks. And their story is falling apart. And there is more circumstantial evidence. There's a mountain of evidence that is pointing directly to an inside job. Maybe the CIA with the oil and arms merchants that did this 9/11 job. Certainly there is no evidence that 19 guys from Osama bin Laden's camp somewhere in a cave did this. And you tell this to people, and they say, well, why would we bomb ourselves? Well, first of all, you can't use the word we. These people aren't we with you. They are them. You are we. They are them. It's us versus them. And they say, well, why would they bomb us? These elitists, these industrialists, these people who make the bombs and who control energy and who work in the intelligence agencies, why would these people bomb? It's inconceivable. We would not bomb ourselves. It's inconceivable. And the answer is quite simple. It's because the architects that are at the very top in the Council on Foreign Relations and in the State Department and in the intelligence agencies and in the industries that surround the military-industrial complex, in the industries that comprise the military-industrial complex. They have a choice. Either they go to war and they make billions and billions and billions of dollars, or they have no war and they make no money. And if you don't think for 1 minute that when a $5 or $10 billion military contract is awarded, that these companies wouldn't kill for that, and that companies like Halliburton, where billions get funneled through these big money laundries, because that's all Halliburton is. It's a money laundry. It's a way to get money from the U.S. Treasury into the hands of private people. That's what Halliburton is. It's a money laundry. If anybody thinks that George Bush's goals with America is anything other than total economic rape, then you don't know anything. The Bushes are the most willing instrument of the Illuminati that the world has ever seen. The Illuminati has had servants in the past, but the Bushes are the most willing and complete servants of the New World Order. The Bushes don't even have a soul or the ability to imagine anything on their own. They are completely inseparable from the Dark Force. They are the total and complete instruments of terror, aggression, profiteering, tyranny, and treason.
911 was an inside job. Get the facts about who the real terrorists are. Tune in to the Vox radio transmission.
Broadcasting to you live from hell. I tell you people, I cannot even turn on the television for 30 seconds. Because if I turn on the TV for 30 seconds, I will be screaming my fucking head off. Yesterday, the Secretary General of the United Nations expressed concern and sought to no longer exempt Americans from war crimes, atrocities that all other nations of the world have to obey when they go rampaging around the world. It was apparently an outrageous demand, the headline read. An outrageous demand that Kofi Annan made. Kofi Annan made an outrageous demand to expect Americans to be held accountable to the same standards that all other nations of the world are held to if they commit brutal rapes and brutal tortures abroad. And CNN had a photo of Kofi Annan, and beneath his picture it had the words, outrageous demand. I shit you not. Didn't even say the name Kofi Annan, just said, outrageous demand. As the narrator, Aaron Brown, a shithead, an appropriate name for Aaron Brown because he's a shithead, well, he said that was an outrageous demand. How outrageous it is to expect that Americans should obey by the same international standards as everyone else on the earth. That's outrageous. Why we should be able to rape and torture whenever we want, and not have to live by the same rules. Why should we not have immunity when we rape and torture? Come on, we're special. You know, we're Americans. We're special. Well, what's so special about us? Well, we're the most obese nation on earth. That's special, huh? And we create more garbage per capita than any other nation on the world. That's pretty special, you know? And we watch more television per capita than any other country on the planet Earth. That's pretty special. And our meals are 1/3 larger in caloric intake than the other industrialized nations, and 2/3 bigger than most third world nations. That's pretty special. People, this is why they hate us everywhere. The whole world hates us because we think it's outrageous that we don't have immunity when we rape and torture. Because we're so special. It's outrageous to think that Americans should have to obey by the same rules as everybody else. That's outrageous. Well, that's outrageous. That's why they hate us. That's why the world hates Americans. Because anybody who actually thinks like this is not an American, not a real American, they're a pig. What's outrageous is that anybody could be such a pig to think this way. That's outrageous. And what's outrageous is that we have a media so full of pigs that they can transmit this crap into our heads and we don't go down to CNN headquarters and burn that building to the fucking ground or blow it to smithereens. That's outrageous. That we take this crap from these lying governmental propagandists down at CNN and Fox and the rest of the government CIA propaganda channels of lies and disinformation. That's outrageous. But it's not outrageous to expect that if we rape and torture, we should be held by the same standards as everybody else abides by the Geneva Conventions has to abide by. So that's so outrageous. And so 30 seconds into the big lie, CNN lie-cast, and that's what it is, because it's not broadcast. They're not broadcasting. It's a lie-cast. It's nothing but carefully scripted. Well, actually, not very carefully scripted. Even it's clumsily scripted. The lies are not even carefully scripted anymore. They're just thrown out there. Any child can see through them. I guess adults can't see through them, but a child can see through these lies. But they're nothing but clumsily scripted, staged news events. Nothing's real on CNN. It's all a lie. If you believe it's real, what's on CNN and Fox? Well, you're an idiot. So I'm watching the big CNN lie cast, transmitting lies 24 hours a day directly into your brain. And I said a long time ago, here's a quote that I said a long time ago. The degree to which something tells you that it's real is directly proportional to the degree to which it bears absolutely no resemblance to reality. So if the words real are in big letters, then it's not real. If they're in bigger letters, it's even less real. And if it's in huge, gigantic letters and they say real, real, real 20 times, then it's fake, 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 fake! That's my quote. And that is the new law here in the simulacra sphere, that is America. If that can of squirt cheese in the supermarket says real cheese, buddy, it's fake cheese. If that television program calls itself The Real World, buddy, there ain't anything remotely resembling reality about that world, depicted on The Real World. And so it goes that, indeed, the degree to which something or someone advertises that it is real, you better know, brothers and sisters, that you're looking at a fake. Here in this new land of opposites where no is yes, down is up, wrong is right, immorality is piety, war is peace, filthy little shitbags like George Bush are heroes and gods. And so CNN and the other tentacles of the New World Order lie machinery, 30 seconds after the broadcast of the outrageous demand that we obey by the same rules as every other rapist out there, began a new lie, are now suddenly promoting the Maui Film Festival. Everything on CNN is about the Maui Film Festival. Turn it on, see what I'm talking about. They're doing these huge promotions surrounding this Maui Film Festival. Dun dun da da dun da da da. What do you think, America, huh? You think there is a free giveaway anymore, huh? Now hold on a second there, Vox. That's pretty serious allegation you're saying. Don't you think you're just being a little too paranoid there, huh, kiddo? I think you're being too paranoid, Vox. Come on. We know that people in marketing and advertising industry in New York would never think of doing a scam on us. All marketing and advertising people are good, honest people. And their first concern is to make sure that Americans enjoy these free giveaways that everybody's offering. You must be some kind of conspiracy theorist if you think that some marketing scumbag in some office over in Viacom would fool us. We believe everything Viacom tells us. You must be a conspiracy theorist if you think that marketing people or advertising people could be dishonest. Come on, Vox. What's wrong with you? But corporations like Viacom aren't interested in giving you anything. They just want your money or your personal data so that they can sell it for money. It's a scam. There's no giveaways. Got it? I'm sorry, people, to bust out the bad news, but it's not real. It's fake. Like most aspects of American life now. It is a fraud, a simulation. You are living in a sad, sorry, fucked up simulation. Swirling with lies and fakeness and fraudulent news items and one staged event after another. It's all phony. It's all fake. The polls are fake. All the news is fake. Everything on the news is fake. Everything! And all the simulated retarded sexuality on the soap operas is all fake and badly written. And it's there to soothe you and comfort you because you're not living life. You're not out there in the streets living life like you should be. And so they sell you someone else's fake life and someone else's nonsense. It's a simulation of life scripted by the elite to prevent you from discovering how fucked up your world is and how they've stolen everything humankind had and replaced it with a simulation. It's to keep you sedated, to keep you in your house, mesmerized in front of the TV, hypnotized by the ball games and soap operas and dumb TV shows and sitcoms like Survivor, where you learn how to fuck over each other, and learn how to be a disgusting pig instead of what you should be doing, which is rise up, tear these elitist Republican industrial scumbags limb from limb, and take your world back. I will open your minds. It's scary shit, people. It is scary. CIA produced, mind-controlled. You are living in a cult. You are a cultist. And I'm here to break you out of your cult. Make you aware of these mechanisms of mind control. The CIA plants this stuff in your brains and you sit there and regurgitate it like a retard. You know? They put it in your head, it comes right out your mouth. You dummies. And you believe it. Oh, you think you do? Oh, I believe this. Oh, I feel this about this topic, and I really feel deeply about that. And I really believe this, and I feel about this, and this is how I feel. You don't know what you feel. You cannot know what is yours and what is planted by the media. You cannot know unless you have the training, and that's what I'm going to do. So listen up, because we're going to have a new mind control cult breaking. We're gonna break you out of your cult. We're gonna break you out of the mind control that you've grown up in all your life. I am here to break you down and open you up and wake you up, people. That is what I am here for. To open your mind and wake you up.
This is the science of mind control.
This war for the conquest of the people and the resources of Eurasia, and that's what this is about. Conquering new markets and people and resources of Eurasia, because whoever controls Eurasia controls the world. We know this. It was planned by your Illuminati masters and the Zionists like Wolfowitz and Pearl. We know this to get the oil resources of the Middle East. And who better to use as patsies for these Illuminati puppet masters after you failed, and you always do fail? Who better to blame than the Jews, right? That's what you always do anyways. That's what you always do. They'll blame the Jews. Isn't that right, George? When you know damn well your puppet masters are not Jewish, nor are they Christian. Your masters are Luciferian. They're Satanists, atheists. They're not Christian. No way, no how. And you have been well trained, Georgie boy, to hide under the cover of Jesus Christ and use Jesus Christ and fake everyone out by using Christianity. You're not a Christian. You're a sociopath. You're a child murderer. You're a phony Christian. You use Christianity because you are too afraid to tell the people that this is all about getting the money from the U.S. Treasury and putting it in your pocket, in the pockets of the Republican industrialists, elitists, armament manufacturers, and oil merchants who prop up your evil empire of looting and child killing and fireman killing and cop killing and CIA director blaming. You know, what do you think about that, guys down at the CIA? You like that? You know? You work for this guy, but yet he's going to hang you out to dry. You think that's cool? You think that's cool what he did to Tenney? He fired him, man. Make a shame of your boss. You think that's cool? Huh? You like that Bush set up your director to take a fall, to be a fall guy, to be a patsy? Who's next? How many other people are going to take a fall for Bush's plan?
In the New World Order, you obey all orders. Not if we have anything to say about it.
Why do you think when Bush travels, he's got to have 10,000 police protect him? Do you think it's because he's a man of God? Do you think it's because God is on his side, huh? You know, like he's always saying, God is, I'm doing God's work here. Well, if you're doing God's work, why the fuck do you need more men to guard your sorry fucking ass than any man in the history of hated men has ever had to protect their sorry asses? Hitler never had to have 10,000 men around him when he goes to visit some fucking European country, you pimp. You know, Bush goes to England, a country that doesn't even have any guns, and he needs 10,000 armed guards. Why? Well, it's because everybody wants him dead. Because he's the most hated man in the history of hated men. There's never been a man. Let me just say this. Bush is the most hated man in the history of hated men. Yeah. Fucking Hitler was never as hated as Bush, by so many as Bush is. Hitler was a Girl Scout compared to Bush. Hitler was never hated by so many people. Bush, everyone in every other country, everywhere else in the world hates Bush except for supposedly half the Americans like him. But that's not true. That's not true. There's no way, no how are there 50% of the Americans like this guy. No way. Like 10 or 15%. That's it, maximum. Okay? No, this fuck needs 10,000 people to protect his sorry fucking ass. Clinton used to just get out of the car and walk in a crowd. Bush will never try that. He'll have his head blown off. But by me, it's not a threat, and I'm not threatening, because you know what happens when you threaten this scumbag. I know what happens even when I made a satirical attempt at threatening this guy. I found out what these little Nazi fuckers do. So no, I'm not personally threatening him right now. So and I have a team of lawyers that I run all this thing by, and they check this shit out, and I got the best civil rights lawyers on the fucking planet Earth, and there's no threats from me, so don't come batting down my doors, you fucking Nazi thugs! Stay the fuck out of my house, you scumbags! Fucking, you imagine that? I had a bunch of fucking Nazis in my house fucking wanting to apprehend me, for what I said about this fucking filthy little scumbag, He's the most hated man on earth, and I tell you, I hate his guts. They want to throw anyone in jail, who even mentions the word killed and Bush in the same sentence, And I'm not saying, I'm just saying that a lot of people would like to see him fucking choked to death on a pretzel. I'm not saying that I am going to force a pretzel down his throat and make it happen, because I can't even get near that guy. So I can't force a pretzel, and I can send him a box of pretzels and hopes he chokes on them. I can send him a new Sedgway human transporter. Maybe he'd fall off his Sedgway and bang his head. Or maybe I can give him some pretzels in Sedgway, and maybe he'll be eating pretzels while he's driving his Sedgway, fall off the Sedgway while he's choking to death on a pretzel, and I'd pop the cork cork off my bottle of Moulin Rouge, have a good time, you know? But no, I'm not going to strap an AK-47 and go after the guy. Don't worry, guys. Don't come batting down my door. You know? And I don't see how anyone can, like, how stupid do you have to be? You know, Bush is going up there and saying, I'm the best one to protect you, and I'm the only guy in America, I'm the best candidate to protect the American people. And in the next sentence, as he says is, you are definitely going to get attacked before the next election by a massive terrorist attack on America. That's like saying, I'm going to install the best alarm system in your house, and absolutely positively you're going to get robbed of everything you own. Right? That's like saying, vote for me because I'm the best person to lead the economy, and we are definitely going to have an economic explosion and go into deep depression. You know, it's like saying, vote for me because I'm going to protect the environment, and absolutely, positively, an environmental catastrophe of epic proportions will definitely occur. Vote for me. I'm going to protect the environment, and it's going to get destroyed. You know? Vote for me because I'm going to help you protect, I'm the only one to protect you from the terrorists, and you will definitely get terrorized on a massive scale. You imagine how stupid you have to be to buy this shit? Whew. I'm just telling you the truth, people, you know? But I'm not threatening this jerk. There's plenty of people out there that hate his guts and like to see him dead. And I don't want to go to jail for saying that because I need to be outside of jail so I can fight this jerk. You know, and I can take this scumbag down with words. My bombs are words and ideas. I can wake the American people up in you give me 1 hour on the news. You give me 1 hour to speak to the American people, and they'll vote for me